to a new Harry's Garage video, and this time we've got the Aston Martin Vantage Roadster, this new model just come out, convertible version of their regular Vantage. No other particular changes on it, although it has got a sort of slightly redesigned grille, which we'll have a look at in a moment. Now, I'm a bit of a fan of this new Vantage. I just think it has a character of its own, and it's sort of made by that AMG V8 in it that burbles away. So I'm expecting great things from this Roadster, because it's obviously going to give you better access to the sounds, etc., and the sensations of this Aston. But I was a little surprised when this one arrived and I checked the options on the car and the pricing. First of all, they've actually had a little price adjustment at Aston Martin. So when the Vantage Coupe launched, it was around £120,000 list. It's now lists at £114,850. So a bit of a reduction there, but this car is about a just over £12,000 premium over the Coupe. This is £126,950 before you spec it. And then with a few extras that this car's got on, I'm afraid it climbs to £149,065, which just seems a bit chunky for the sort of junior roadster within the Aston Martin range. But it's not a bad looking car. Let's go and have a closer look. Now, this one has this new sort of veined grille. You can have, there's a choice. I think you can still have the sort of mesh grille that the last one I had in the garage had. But this is the sort of new look, a more traditional grille as they term it. It still looks rather big and sort of low set. What strikes me about the Vantage is it's these small headlights and this vast bonnet, the width of it. I mean, it just looks huge to me. And I think it's very colour sensitive because there's so much of the bonnet, you know, so much colour when you see it on the road. Come round to the side, I really quite like the side profile on it. It looks aggressive and modern, and I like the way that venting from that front wheel arch along the body is sort of a real design statement here. I think that looks terrific, and how it just gradually evaporates as it goes along the car. And then this big sort of muscular look, this sort of really quite wide rear arches, you know, that taut muscular look that designers love to talk about. I think it works very well here. Flip up rear and those narrow lights, side profile, terrific. And then we come round here and oh my lord, it's all going on. And I have to say that this is a US spec car because they were all hoping to do the launch of this car, global launch in California. Didn't quite happen. So we have these slightly strange proboscides here that are only on US cars, and then the Venturi, etc. effect underneath. Don't know, it all gets a bit busy for me round here, although I do like the light treatment and the way it goes straight across, you know, the brake light integrated, and all looks sort of modern and edgy. Just looking at some of the optional extras on this car in more detail. Paint. This is Spirit Silver. Just looks like silver to me, but it's actually a £4,995 option, which I really don't understand. Then we've got, well, on this car we've got that sort of red hood. You'll see in a moment when I put the roof up. I mean, it looks good. I quite like it. The rest of the family hate a red hood, but I've always think it looks distinctive and sort of coach built if you do that. £1,195. Brake calipers in black. £995. How can they charge £1,000 to have black painted calipers? What do you say? You say, no, I don't want any paint, thanks. I bet they come as black anyway. What else have we got? 20-inch, these wheels, the forged wheels are these sort of spoke finish, £2,995, so £3,000 really. And then another slightly bizarre one, gloss black splitter, diffuser and sills running along the side of the car. That's £1,495. But again, I wonder what they are if you don't tick that box. Do they paint them, you know, body colour? They're not carbon. I would have thought this was the standard finish. So it's those sort of extras I just don't quite understand. Anyway, let's have a little look under the bonnet because it's quite impressive under there. Where is it? Let's see it. Here we are. Up it goes. Vast. I just can't get over the size of that. And how far back they've managed to get the V8. Where does it start? Front of that engine is about there, just all behind the front wheels. Really impressive. Not a hint of sort of AMG anywhere, Vantage, final inspection, Jordan Haynes. Again, this cross brace here, I noticed that's on the option list, black cross brace. So I'm not sure what what colour it is normally painted, but you have to pay £295 to have it in black. What's going on with these optional extras? They just love to charge. This is the air intake coming in here. Two sides, feeding the turbos, a hot V, which we keep talking about, but this is very obvious. You can actually see the turbos sitting in the middle of the V. So the exhaust is up top, and then the inlet manifold is actually at the side. So the other way around, where they used to do it. But honestly, it's just the width and the stance of this car, and also I like the way this is all aluminium. All the top of the suspension struts are this cast aluminium. Pretty high tech. That is also where the engine is breathing from, so that fits down on there. That's the air box in there. If I close the bonnet again, you do wonder where it's breathing from. It seems to be from the front. Is that from there? God, that's a big bonnet. Then we'll move at the back. And actually, I find this really impressive for such a car with Roadster and the roof folding away. This is a big boot. And they also, this one, I haven't seen this on the option list, but it does have an umbrella. No, it doesn't appear on the option list. You get that for free, hurrah! Anyway, what I'm going to do now, take it outside, take it for a drive. Lots of bongs as ever. Don't forget your key. I've only just got in. Sort of obviously familiar, exactly the same as regular Vantage Coupe in here. So little hints of Mercedes-ness on the infotainment and then obviously the Aston unique sort of buttons for the gearbox all here in glass, and a glowing red stop-start sign at me there. This quadrangle steering wheel. They do seem to like this at Aston, and I'm one of those, I'm ready to say, oh, it's rubbish, but it's reasonably comfortable and it's the right size. It's not too thick. Great big paddles behind. Just some not very pretty elements. I don't think this central area is pretty at all, really. What have we got under here? Yeah, a little cubbyhole, power in there. And actually, you don't get a glove box on the Roadster or the Vantage, but you do get a great big bin behind the seat there, and that is huge. You can put your hand right through on either side. That takes an awful lot of stuff up there, which is a surprise. Seats controls are on the side of the tunnel here, and I notice I'm not convinced this is the same size as the cockpit, whether the roof has stolen a little bit of roof, but I seem to be right at the outer edge of how far back, and you notice it when I put it back, the backrest starts to climb like that, so you get you can't go as far back as I would like. But yeah, start the engine, and it's an instant V8 grumble, which I do like. Other things, I couldn't quite work out how to do the roof, which I'll do in a moment. It's in the door, the little switch is down here. That fooled me for a bit as well. And I haven't really mentioned the info screen. I've got it turned off, and then it doesn't offend me at all. So, right, well, to get going, I'm going to press drive. And you know what? I am going to put the roof down because it's ridiculously quick. It just disappears in an instant, and of course up to 31 miles an hour. The one thing it doesn't do is put the windows back up for you, so whether that's how they managed to get it to do this amazing time of 7 seconds to fold, I don't know. But there we go. I'm going to leave my place, and then you'll join us on some better roads in a little while. Quite like the way all the instruments are laid out as well. This central speedo with the revs and the speed in the middle, gear change, no conventional speedo. To the left I can sort of tweak that. I've got various things, like fuel and water up at the moment. And then on the wheel I have these two controls. This is dampers. So I've got comfort set in mid and then up high, and then a sport plus for the sort of engine management. What you're very conscious of, you can hear it over the diesel van behind me, as a V8 woofer. I might just put it up to... Can you hear that? All the time there's a muscle car American V8 woofer with this engine and the roof off. It's almost a surprise that it's a sort of sound going back over ages, and yet this thing has got all the particulate filters, it's got twin turbos, but my goodness does it have a V8 rumble. I mean, Sports Plus at the moment, which slightly enhances. I can press it one more time and then it gets all a bit naughty and rude in track. Put it back to normal, and I think I'm going to put it back to normal. Go on, there we are. That's S for sports. That's sort of more standard. I'm not sure which one it means, but again, when you first get in, there's a GT mode about it, and probably because of the gearbox, 8-speed ZF gearbox, transaxle. It's in the back with carbon prop shaft, etc. It's weird. The only weirdness with this car is the weight of it. Why is this Vantage hit so heavy? This is very much the wrong side of 1700 kilos wet. It's about, I think it was 70 kilos heavier than the regular Vantage Coupe, and it's got a rear bias on the weight thanks to the gearbox, etc., and that engine being so far into the bulkhead. But you just question, why has it ended up so heavy? I suppose all cars are getting heavy. Right, this is my normal squirt. I'm in Sports Plus, and I've just got it in drive normal mode at the moment. It's telling me I'm in 5th gear. I'll just bring it down to 30 miles an hour, and then I'll hoof it up this hill. Here we go. 30 miles an hour and kick down. Yeah, performance is good. Bring it a little down to more legal speeds. Performance is good. 4 seconds to 60 is plain time, but it's just that grunt. It's that torque figure, 680 newton meters of torque, 685 high, 500 odd pound-foot, I think that translates to. So there's always grunt on go, and it likes to change down. It's quite an active gearbox. I'm a massive fan of this ZF 8-speed gearbox. I'm going to take over manual control now. Just by touching the paddle, it all comes back and goes live on the paddles. I have to press drive again. I'll just turn right down here. Oh. Shifting up to using 5,000 RPM. I mean, it's redlined at 7, but actually you can just mooch around with this with that monstrous torque. Really, the steering is just one item I'm not overly happy with. It's quick, turns in, very direct, but it does feel very, shall we say, electric wreck. There's a pretty feelless sensation coming through the wheel, which is disappointing, really. You know, some of the cars are aggressive and track photos or hand focus as this. It's just a device for changing direction rather than to read the road surface. I've got it in its softest setting at the moment. One slight disappointment is the ride isn't great on this car. It's definitely verging on the firm side on a sort of B road like this. There's some modern sports cars, 992 for example, that seem to do the softer ride better, and I'm on, as I say, the softest position. It does sort of add to its sort of aggressive feel. This it definitely feels up for things. I've just put it into Sports Plus. Yeah, it's like a boisterous teenager, this car, if you want it to be, if you press the right buttons. Let's see what it does through here. I'm in standard setting. I might just put it up to Sports Plus. Through the compression. Yeah, you can tell the firm springing through there. There's not a lot of wheel travel through this quick right left. beautifully pointy steering really on it. You just point the nose and it goes in. I mean, it's almost Ferrari-esque, the speed of the front end. It's instant change of direction and pow, you're into that corner and hit the apex and out again. Yeah, that I really like. Right, let's summarise in this car then. Well, dislikes. Well, first thing I suppose I've got to say is the sort of weight, I suppose. I do feel the bulk, even though there's super quick steering and turning the corners. But you are always that sensation there's a lot of mass here. It's very well tied down. You're never short of traction. But it's annoying that it's right up there in the heavyweight division. And then I suppose the steering needs a mention as a demerit. Just although it points in and it fools you, it's this super sporting steering, it is a bit numb. There are better electric racks out there than perhaps this Aston rack. There is plenty of other sensations with the car, but the steering isn't one where you're getting the feedback from. And then a little controversial, but the looks. I'm not getting on with the looks of this car. I find it's distinctive rather than elegant. I expect Aston to be elegant, and I don't see that much elegance in this car. At some angles I like it. I love the simple roof and the fact it's fabric and it looks good folded and up. It's one of those roadsters that does look just as good roof up or roof down. And the side profile is nice, but it all seems a bit of a hodgepodge at the rear. There's too much going on at the rear, and then that front, that giant slab of bonnet and those little tiny headlights, it's just odd. And then the grille that seems low, these just go through. I might have to just disappear at the moment. Oh, I mean, it's a proper sports car. Let's go on to the likes. And what I love about it is this boisterous nature. It's up for it. It feels special. There is a character to this car that is lacking in some other competitors' cars, and I absolutely adore it. A lot of that comes from the engine. It is a gem of an engine. This AMG 4-litre V8 twin turbo just sprinkles some magic dust every car it's put in, and it's exactly the same with this car. But the one thing I haven't really mentioned is the price again, and it's the one sticking point I have with this car. It is engaging and I love driving it, but that price is a stickler. This car in this spec, 149,000, let's call it £150,000. That is a chunk of cash for the junior roadster Aston, especially when I was in that Boxster GTS 4-litre a couple of weeks ago, and that was 75,000 all spec. He said, oh, it's not a direct competitor. Well, it's just as fast. They're both, Boxster does 182, I think this is 185 roof down, and I know down this bit of road I'd have just as much fun in that Boxster. Another car that sort of I'm going to get in soon, that F-Type P450 with a detuned V8 supercharged engine, £75,000, very similar sort of makeup to this car. Then if you're doing its direct rivals, well, you've got the Porsche 992 Targa, 109,000 before extras. Yes, it's a little down on power, but it's just as quick because it's not carrying nearly as much bulk as this. It's still heavy, but it is lighter than this car, and that's particularly so with that Boxster, I suppose. So yeah, I love the car, but I just think it's a lot of money, and there's more fun to be had elsewhere if you want a roadster. So there you go. That's my conclusion on this Aston Martin Vantage Roadster. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, well, please keep watching and keep subscribing, because there'll be more videos coming along very soon.